Für mich ist
das ist eine sehr gute Ausstellung.
Sehr gute Ausstellung. Die Künstler ist sehr lustig.
Sehr lustig.
Und
kennen du der Kunsthalle?
Yeah. The show is titled in German, The Lawyer, no, The Curator.
Your first. The Curator, the Lawyer and
the Curator, der Anwalt und der Psychoanalytiker. Why? Because the artist, in a way, wanted to go out of the frame and to leave the responsibility of interpreting his work by three different figures, people with very different backgrounds. A curator, me, a Lacanian psy, and a lawyer. So each of us selected a number of works, and we also wrote a short text to contextualize the piece and our choice.
So first I should explain the way it's done. I found some little family movie in which you see Freud with his dog and his family, and I use the same technique as I use in the same series, following the right hand of. I just project the film here on paper, and then I just follow the right hand of Sigmund Freud with a marker. And so we have a series of drawing that is, in a way, you could say, are executed by Sigmund Freud himself. The idea was to produce a molecule, to invent a molecule, to design a molecule, rather than, because you expect artists to create forms, and I was thinking that would be interesting to actually just create matter. And I thought even better than matter would be to actually design molecule, then could be then a plastic molecule, not in a molecule. And so we contacted Solvay, which is, I mean, the most important chemical company in the world, one of the most important. And so we started to work on this idea. It's much too complicated. It was much too complicated because it needs a lot of time and research what I wanted to do. But anyway, we still created the plastic, and the plastic is a combination of two products of the heavy industry that is, I mean, it's not metal, but it's two production of the industry. One is food flavor, and the other one is polyethylene. And so we just created the polyethylene with meat flavor. So
and then the funny thing I would add, it's that in a way with this work you want to produce something like stuff matter without being too much interested in the idea of form or shape that is like one of the idea of, in a way, of beauty, but the result in a way is that we have
but more than you go too fast.
Product.
The idea was to go from that bag that's full of pure polyethylene and to arrive to that kind of bag with the finished product.
Yeah.
But that was too expensive to do, because to produce that you need a machine that is this one, and at the end of that machine you need another machine that cuts the plastic immediately when it's finished into little beads, and the beads goes back to the bag. And so from those bags then you could have given to a company who produce plastic cups or anything, and then they would be able to produce something out of it. Because that step of processing the plastic into little beads was too expensive and complicated, we let the plastic fall on the floor, and that's how we end up with something that is actually, as you said, super sculptural, and in that sense very far away from the initial intention. But still very nice, I mean, probably even better. So here we have names of famous artists, a list that was produced by some art advisor in 2006. So the idea was to produce a kind of image of that year through artist names, or maybe even this kind of school, how do you call that? Pictures you do at school at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so after years you kind of look at it, you look at back to it, and then you remember some of the people's faces, and some of them you don't remember who they were.
And it's not an ongoing piece?
No, no, the idea is that with time some names will probably remain, or others will disappear, and yeah.
So in a way it's a time capsule.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
So almost nostalgic piece, because some of them maybe they already disappear.
None of them I think have disappeared.
Yeah, none of those.
No.
For sure.
Any of those actually, I was happy to see that.
So it's
you have this feeling that it goes really fast and people get to disappear quickly, but I must say that all the people I asked the list from they were really good, and they actually selected artists that are still quite busy today.
And in terms of audience, do you think is a piece that could be easily get by
a general audience?
Or
I don't think so.
Because in a way it's also nice that you're spraying names of people that for a niche of people that are very famous, and for others totally not. And usually when you spray on the wall, it's about something.
But the work started on the street, because the idea was to put Ed Ruscha's name into on the wall of a palisade where I live in Belgium. And I have another one. I have Jorge Pardo, also in a kind of desertic place around my area where I live in Brussels. And those names look so weird in those environments, because you know that probably 2 or 3 people, they understand who Jorge Pardo is in Scarbeck in Persia. So it's kind of sad as well. It's not what I wanted to do, but to see Jorge Pardo or Ed Ruscha in a kind of really dirty place, in a palisade in Scarbeck, it's like if you see a friend of yours, like he's lost in a part of the city, abandoned. So it is a bit sad, in fact, in that context. And then I extended it to the gallery, where it's more flashy and fun because it's colorful. So Luca, I'm going to tell you what this piece is about. It's called Where is Rocky 2? And it's this piece is a little trailer I've done. I started 2 years ago. Started in 2009 actually, where I finished it. I shot in LA 2 years ago and I finished it last year. Anyway, so this piece, it's interesting. I discovered 10 years ago that Ruscha made a very unusual object. And this object is a fake rock made out of resin, and he placed this fake rock in the middle of other real rocks in the desert in California. And so I tried to get information about this piece, but nobody actually seemed to know about that work, and the more I was trying to get information, the less I could get anything, and this thing became so mysterious that I decided to make a film about it. And so in order to do a feature length, I first decided to do this little piece here that would in case the film would never happen, at least I would have something that would talk about that desire to do this work, this film. But eventually, I got in contact with the producer, and we are producing another film. We basically filmed 90% of the film is already shot.
And what is left?
We have to, in that, it's mainly a kind of documentary, but in that documentary there is 10 minutes of fiction, and we need to shoot that 10 minutes. And so for that reason, we are doing a crowdfunding on Indiegogo, and you will have the link on this website, but we are trying to raise something like $150,000 to finish the film. So we have 20 days to achieve, and we will see.
How much money did you get till now?
45,000.
Okay.
So a bit less than a third.
Since the beginning, when you discovered this, when you heard about the first time about this piece by Adrouchet, you immediately start to think about, let's say, to develop this idea into like a film as a work, or you had several, like, you were thinking, wondering about how to deal with that information. They say, okay, that's interesting, I can do something out of it.
But first I thought this piece was known, so I didn't think of doing anything. And then when I realized that no one knew about it, I discovered that piece from a documentary from BBC that was from 1979. And so it was, Adrouchet is so famous, BBC is so big, I really thought everybody knew about that work. And suddenly when I started to realize that no one knew about that piece, no one had seen the documentary, even getting closer to Adrouchet, there was no information about that work, that I started to think it becomes really mysterious. Even Adrouchet seemed not to be willing to really talk about it, which I thought was really surprising, because it's not exactly like I digged out something really secret. It was probably on television, so why to hide something that was probably once really visible? And say, well, also what's this work that is? It's already quite interesting to have a work that is invisible, but a work that nobody seems to know is even stranger. So I just thought the mystery was thickening so much that I thought I had this idea that Adrouchet produced, maybe involuntarily, what Hitchcock was calling a MacGuffin, which is this mysterious object that serves only for the story to develop and for characters of a film to be put into motion, which Hitchcock described it as the plan of a secret weapon, or the plan of a submarine, or some bomb, or some kind of secret service stuff that in the end you don't even know what it is, because you don't care. It's just the reason for the characters to just do something. And so I thought it was interesting to also, because the fake rock is obviously clearly an element of a film set. It's like remains of a Western prop. And so I thought there was many reasons for me to put this piece back into the film context.
You think Adrouchet would love this piece?
His work or my film?
Your film.
I have no idea. I think so.
Why?
Because the documentary from '79 is somehow in the same spirit. But I don't know, I have no idea actually. What's your idea? You have something to... Oh. Adrouchet. Oh no, don't answer.
Sorry.